Hello, this is Maria Nodoff. I'm here with our videographer, Ken Benedict. Today is March 18th, 2023, and we are here to interview Betty Langton. Betty, what year were you born?
1930.
Okay, thank you. And where were you born?
Auburn, California.
Auburn. And when did you move to Orangevale?
Probably in 34.
So you were about 4 years old?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what are your earliest memories?
Well, we lived over on Greenback and Kenneth, and I started school at Roberts School. Went there for, I'm sure, a couple of years. And then we moved to over on Granite. My dad worked for Chapman's. They raised chickens and turkeys, and they were on Oak and Granite. They had all that property, clear down Granite past the creek, and they let us build a little house on their property, and it started out as a tent house, was a wooden floor and wood up so high, and then they put a tent on it, and I don't remember when they finished building it, but we were there probably until, I know we were there when the war started, so maybe the next year or two we moved. My dad knew the Sears, and they lived down Hazel, big family down there, and Billy Sears had a DC-8, and he came over with that, and he pulled my dad bought 10 acres over on Mountain, and he pulled the house across country over to Mountain and set it up there, and that's where we lived.
And that was the tent house?
Yes.
And how long did you live there?
On Mountain until we bought this house and moved here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my dad split the acreage. My sister got 5 and I got 5. They eventually moved up to Oregon, and I stayed there. So until we sold that and bought this place in '56.
And why did you move to Elm?
Pardon me?
Why did you move here to Elm?
We wanted a bigger place, and we had 2 children by then, and we had 2 more after we moved here. My husband worked for, he was Navy, and he had, 14 years in the Navy at that time, and he worked for the telephone company in Roseville. And he finished up his Navy through reserve and retired 23 years at the Navy. Worked for Roseville Telephone Company for 28 years, and we just settled here. So, and we went to Willie Woo's grocery store, and Plumber's was next door, feed store. And when we lived on Mountain, my dad, we had pigs and cows and things. We bought our feed there. There was a Golden Eagle station across the street. Harry Lee Master had that. And he built a little ice cream parlor next door. And I worked there when I was in high school. And oh, it must be McGill. Saw someone. Yes. Yeah. Where was I?
You were at an ice cream parlor.
Yes. I worked there when I went to high school. I went to San Juan High School. Graduated Orangevale School.
So you moved from Roberts to Orangevale?
Yes. Yes. You know, we had a volunteer fire department in Orangevale. Yes, my friends worked there, and one of the volunteers burned down Robert's School and the clubhouse.
We've heard about him.
Yes.
So you went to Roberts, and then you went to Orangevale, and graduated from Orangevale from 8th grade and went to San Juan.
Yes.
Okay. Did you know Jim Call? Does that name sound familiar?
Call?
Uh-huh.
No.
He went to Orangevale way back, the original Orangevale, way back in the day. Thought you might know him. Do you remember any of the teachers from Roberts or from
Mrs.
Orangevale?
Kirsten was at Robert's School.
Mr. McCall talked about her, that she loved cars. Okay, any others?
At Orangevale, well, obviously Mrs. Cable. Corquette.
Do you remember how, was it COR?
She was first, second, and third grade teacher.
Okay, at Roberts or at Orangevale?
Orangevale.
Okay, I'll have to look her up. Okay, so who were your friends growing up? Did you have neighbors? What was this place like? What was this area like?
Empty. There was nothing across the street.
What do you want me to do? Ask him
Yeah.
to stop. Go to the backyard.
Do the backyard first. You can cut.
Yeah, buildings were very far apart. Yes, yeah. Actually, when we moved here, there was three houses. That lot was empty. We watched that house go up. And then this house, 1, 2, and then from then on that was empty. So you just watch things grow. Yeah.
I don't know when the Zadunich family moved here, but I know they lived down the street. Did you know Mike Zadunich?
Oh, heavens, yes. Yes. He was a teacher across the street.
He retired a few years after I started there at
Yes.
Pasteur.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have Zadunich. Any friends that you remember from your elementary school years?
Well, from Orangevale School, unfortunately, they're gone. But Wilkie's, Wyatt's, Betty Pippett, Viola Hamilton, Alice Whitney, Henry Wu. I went to school with Henry. That's all I can come up with there.
That's a lot. And you've already said that you shopped at the Wu store. Was it the public market at that time?
Yes.
Yes. And then became the Capri. You mentioned a couple of stores. You mentioned Plumber's
Feed store.
behind the Wu's, and you mentioned Harry Lee Master.
Mm-hmm.
What did he have?
Golden Eagle gas station.
And what corner was that on?
It was across from the feed store.
So where the post office is now, or still on that corner?
No, you had Willie Woo's,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had Plumber's feed store. Across the street from the feed store was the gas station.
And there was also Hancock gas station, correct? Or was that later?
Willie had that. He had 2
Okay.
pumps. That was the Hancock.
Okay. So that was Willie's.
Yes.
Okay. Any other stores that you remember in the neighborhood?
Holmes's. They were across from the clubhouse. He had a grocery store and a bar.
Do you remember the name of? Was it just called Holmes or did
Holmes, yeah.
Holmes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the grocery store and bar. Okay. Any others?
There wasn't much here. There was a pharmacy on down Greenback going east, along there somewhere. Probably where that strip mall is right now between Walnut and Chestnut. I didn't go there very often. Vance's on Walnut and Greenback, grocery store. There was a little gas station and a beer joint. Well, when Greenback, you go Greenback, by the time you hit Maine, it made a curve and went toward what is now Orangeville Avenue. And then, so this was Greenback, Orangeville, like this. So there was like, we called it a triangle. And Ernie Dietrich had his little, 2 pumps, I think, and a little beer joint there. And then that was the Lincoln Cut, took you to Folsom. That's the only way you could get to Folsom.
Mm-hmm. Right down, then down Orangeville Avenue.
Pardon me?
The Lincoln Cut, you'd go down Orangeville Avenue.
It would,
Down Maine to Orangeville.
Right.
if it's Maine now, but it wasn't Maine then. You
It had
took
a
your
different name back then.
Greenback about when you get to Maine, and it curved. It didn't go straight like it does now. You made a curve, and then Orangeville Avenue was here, and they were right there in that little triangle. Yeah.
I think Main Avenue was called 5th Street. 5th Avenue, 5th Street.
I can't hear you.
I think that Main Avenue was originally called 5th Avenue or 5th Street.
I don't know. Could have been. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
What were your experiences going to San Juan?
It was scary to start with. It was a big change from elementary school. Yeah. Wasn't really my happiest days. I wasn't a very good student. I just went, did what I had to do, and went home. Yeah. Just school, yeah.
What were the streets like? What condition were the streets in?
They were all 2-lane. Main one was 2-lane, Greenback. A bunch of palm trees planted along it. All the others were very narrow. Some were dirt. Yeah, so it just plain little town. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Dirt roads. And there was no bridge. Hazel didn't have a bridge
No.
at that time. That came in quite late.
And Greenback didn't go to Folsom.
No.
Right. Yes.
No.
Because you said the only way to get there was across the Lincoln Cut.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, so you did what you had to do in high school, and you came home and you worked at the ice cream shop. Do you remember the name of the ice cream shop?
No.
Might not have had a name. It might have just been the ice cream shop. That must have been fun. I bet you saw a lot of people in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, just one person at a time. I worked one shift, and Gladys Mosinger worked another.
And what'd you do in the summer?
Mosinger. I went to school with Marcia Mosinger.
Oh, you went to, yeah.
Well, I worked in fruit sheds, cutting fruit, laying it on a tray. Greenall just had one on pecan and greenback. There was another one on hickory. A Chinese family had it, and I worked there for a while. Worked one summer in Libby McNeil and Libby's pickle factory. Right now it's a spaghetti factory down there on close to Folsom Boulevard.
Libby McNeil.
Libby McNeil and Libby.
Okay, and that was a pickle factory.
Yes, it was.
Did you smell like pickles when you came out of there?
Probably.
How did you get to school? Did you walk? Did you take a bus?
To elementary school. For a few years, a family on Cherry, coolies, their daughter went there, Lorna. And she had Lorna, she picked up Margaret and Stella Zanetta. She picked up my sister and I, and she picked up Thelma and Arlene Schnabel, that lived on Granite, and drove us to school. I don't remember her picking us up. We probably walked home. Then when her daughter graduated, we got bicycles and rode our bicycles to school. And when I went to San Juan, where did we get that bus? I walked from Mountain up to Oak, I think down to Chestnut, and that's where the bus picked us up.
So were there a lot of kids who got on the bus at that point, or was it still not very populated?
2, 3, probably about 4 of us.
Okay.
4 or 5. It varied as they graduated. And, yeah.
What did you do after high school?
I went to work for Sacramento Motor Vehicles downtown.
So for the state?
Yes.
Okay. And where did you meet your husband?
The ice cream parlor.
Oh!
The fountain. The fountain.
Is that what they called it? The fountain?
I remember you calling it the
Did
fountain.
I? Did I? Okay.
And what was his name?
Wayne.
And how old were you when you met him?
'18, probably. 18, 19.
Okay, so that was after the war was over.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're 18 or 19. And when did you marry?
1950.
How old were you then?
Pardon me?
How old were you when you
20.
married? 20 years old. And that's let me see, I'm trying to remember. Your parents had the tent house,
Mm-hmm.
and then you moved to Mountain.
Right.
And is that where you were when you married?
Yes.
And then where did you move?
We lived there. We improved the house and fixed it up and put in plumbing. Running hot water for a change. Yes. Yeah.
And that was in 1950?
Yes.
So plumbing and hot water in 1950.
Well, that took a little while. That was about 52, 53 before we got you could really call it a house with all the necessary things you need. Yes.
Well, it seems in our interviews that so many of the people growing up worked in the fruit sheds.
Mm-hmm.
It must just have been a
what we did.
thing for everybody.
Yes, yes.
So you said you worked for the Greenhalghs,
yes,
and then you worked for the Chinese family?
yes.
You don't remember their
I
name?
don't recall their name.
Did they live in Orangevale? Was it that?
They were over on Hickory
on Hickory,
Avenue.
So that was their property.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you married and were still living on Mountain, and your husband, you said, was in the Navy,
Mm-hmm.
and then you already told me, I wrote it down. What did he do after that?
Roseville Telephone Company.
That's right, the telephone company. And so how many children did you have?
4.
4, and where did they go to school?
Where'd they go to school? My oldest daughter started at Orangevale, I think 1 year there, and they built Green Oaks. So they went to Green Oaks, Pasture, and Casa.
Okay. So all your kids did that? Green Oaks, Pasteur, Casa?
Yes.
All 4 of them? Okay. And do you remember any community events? Did you go to the clubhouse before it burned down?
Yes. They had dances there. What was it? What was his name that came there? Bud Hobbs. Western music.
Was he? Did he have a band?
Yes.
And was he there? Was he there sort of every weekend or once a month or?
I don't recall how often he came. It wasn't regular, but periodically he would come there. Yeah.
What did your parents do for recreation and entertainment? Did they have any time for that?
What was that?
What did your parents do? Did they attend dances too, or?
No, they were ranchers. Yeah.
So they spent all
My
their
dad worked for Natomas, a dredging company.
Mhm.
After we moved over on Mountain. Yeah, he worked there until he retired.
And I guess your mother was busy with all of you?
By the time I was 12, she was no longer in our lives.
Oh, okay.
So, can't say what she was doing.
All right. So, you married, and then in 1950 you moved to this house. And
56 we bought this place.
56, and you've lived here ever since. It's
Yes.
a long time. So, what are your impressions of the changes in Orangevale?
Oh my gosh.
Watch your language.
Yeah. Just a lot of changes, yeah. Too many people.
I guess that is an adjustment going from all that open land.
Yes,
'Cause
yes.
people always talk about how open things were and no one had fences.
Right.
People rode horses around. and-
Yes.
Did you all have horses?
My sister did. I was not a horse person. Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any other stories you want to tell us about life here in Orangevale?
Do you know about the ladies in white?
Tell us about, yes, we've heard quite a bit about the ladies in white. Tell us about
I
them.
don't know a whole lot. I know they were part of the volunteer fire department, and I think they were even with Citrus Heights Fire Department.
So with Orangevale and Citrus Heights.
Pardon me?
With Orangevale and Citrus Heights.
Well, when Citrus Heights, Gene Desmond started up Citrus Heights. I don't know how you do that, but he did, and they just kind of consumed our volunteer department, and the volunteer, I don't know where the Orangevale got the fire truck, but it was parked in the Mosinger's backyard, and the boys were part of the volunteers. And then when Citrus Heights took over, Bob went with Citrus Heights Fire Department. He was retired at assistant chief when he retired. By that time, Sac Metro had taken over, and then the Desmonds started up South Placer Fire Department. And my grandson is a paramedic fireman at South Placer Department. Robin's son. Captain, yes, and he's captain.
So you must be very proud of him.
Yes, absolutely.
So how many grandchildren do you have?
I have 6.
Lovely.
And I've got 9 great-grand. Yeah, I think that's about right. Hard to keep track sometimes.
Any other memories or stories? Is she forgetting anything?
I can't think of any.
People often mention powwow days.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That was kind of a big deal around here.
it was, yeah.
Yep. The parade and all the
Yeah.
were in the field. Used to have everything all set up, and the carnival. Yeah, we lived there. We look forward to it every year as a kid, of course. So
When I taught at Pasteur, the kids, they would set up practically right behind the
yes,
school.
it was.
And those kids, they lived for that.
Oh, yeah.
It was,
Yeah,
they just
all
had the,
that ever happened out here.
yes, and they were so
yeah.
excited about it.
Yeah.
So excited. Talked about it in the weeks coming up, and then it happened, and then they talked about it for the
Right.
weeks afterwards.
Mhm.
About the things that happened and what they saw, and
Right.
yeah. Anything else?
I can't come up with anything.
Any questions that you have that we forgot about, Ken? Okay. Well, thank you so much. This was a lot of good information. You had a lot of wonderful names
Okay,
that we can add to our history of Orangevale.
good.
And I noticed you had some photographs over there.
Yes, I do.
Are they things that we can photograph? And
They're copies.
Copies you can have
Robert
if you
School.
want.
oh,
Oh, different schools?
So yeah, this is Robert's school, and yeah, here's Mom sitting there barefoot,
Mm-hmm.
typical. But yeah, so we wrote down back row, next row, next row.
oh,
and
wonderful,
names.
wonderful.
So-
Oh, good. Yeah.
You are more than welcome. Like I said, these are copies. So
That'd be wonderful to
yeah,
have.
1935 and 1936.
Oh, terrific.
So and
Yeah.
sorry about the chicken scratch. but
That's all right. That's all right.
After a while, my hand was cramping with the Mosinger.
And tell me your name again.
I'm Robin.
Robin. Yes. Robin.
I don't know. I can't think of it. I'm looking at pictures. Rock Corral.
Did you ever play there?
Out at Rock Corral? Oh, heavens, yes. My sister and I used to go fishing out there. We'd go out and collect mushrooms at a certain time of the year. And, yeah, it was a neat place. I'm sick that they let people build homes out there now. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, a lot of it's been saved.
No, that's good.
Yes. And the
Yeah.
county owns it now.
There's 61 acres of saved land now.
Okay, good. Yeah, because it used to be, well, granite stops and at Cherry, and then that was Rock Corral right out there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, your grandma and grandpa were caretakers, but it really wasn't Orangevale. It was considered,
Well, we called it Orangevale then.
yeah, where Lowe's is now. It's
Yeah.
Sunrise and Greenback. So the big farm out there.
Yeah.
Do you remember who the owners were?
Greenalch.
Oh, it was Greenalch.
Yeah.
Huh, there you go.
Yeah.
We've got pictures of that. I
Yeah.
think.
That was on my mother's side. Yeah.
How long was your mother native to Orangevale?
No. No, they came from Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the picture you have up there.
Yeah, my dad, well, he was born 1901 and they settled in on Cherry Avenue. 1910 he went to Eureka School. Ranched all of his life, most of his life.
And the dredging
Yeah.
of an ice house, right? Do you do dredging all the way up?
No, just in Folsom.
Oh, just in Folsom.
Yeah.
What do you do in ice house?
He, somewhere along the way, he worked at a lumber mill
Oh, that was the
up
lumber
there.
mill. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right. Amazing memory. I don't remember it. Mom, how she's rattling off who took her to school and what neighbors went with you. Oh my God.
That is wonderful. Yes, all these names are terrific for all of our records. So thank you.
You're more than welcome.
We really appreciate it, and we appreciate the photographs. And any other photographs you want to show us would be great.
Yeah, but I think that's most of them over here. Grandpa, and then Rock Corral, and then the house. It shows the house there where Lowe's is now.
Now, who lived at where Lowe's is?
My grandparents.
Your grandparents lived
Mom's
there.
grandparents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lily Mae.
Minnie
Minnie Mae.
Minnie Mae. Lily Mae was the other grandmother.
That was the other grandma. Yeah. Yeah, one was, one side.
Yeah.
Lily Mae and Minnie Mae.
Yeah.
Way.
All right.
You have pictures of Rock Corral up here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah.